Hello Caffeine Fiends and welcome to another coffee review video for www.getbeane.com. I'm Vince the Mean Bean Machine and today we're looking at Four Rivers Coffee's Nyarusiza Rwandan coffee? Yeah, it's Rwandan. So, why have I chosen this? Well, because it's local. I'm a big kind of proponent of a big kind of fan of shop local, support local, buy local, support the local economy, therefore support the wider economy, support, independence, blah, 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 blah. All of that. Also, I like to see the coffee scene that's in and around where I am. So I live in a commuter town kind of just outside of London, about 20 or so miles north of London. So the coffee scene is in London, as far as I'm concerned, but it's weirdly enough where I am, it's sort of picking up quite nicely. So I'm in Hertfordshire, Hertford, East Herts. The county town of is Hertford. That's where I am. And in this area, you've got sort of Bionic Ball Roastery, which runs the Hearts Coffee Labs that are popping up throughout Hertford. You've got Sustain Coffee, which are doing some fantastic things, really great kind of fifth wave coffee, and a few other things dotted around. But I stumbled across Four Rivers Coffee solely because I saw one of their vans parked in the local supermarket, and I was like, I've not heard of them, and they're literally in the town that I live. So Four Rivers, named because they are based in Hertford. Hertford has the Rib, Beane, Mimram and Lee running through it, and if you really want to get nerdy, it has the new canal as well, but that's part of the Lee and Stort navigation system, so I don't want to get into technicalities. But the Four Rivers, there's Four Rivers in Hertford. Four Rivers Coffee, I think that's what they're called, Four Rivers Coffee Co. They roast in Hertford Heath, so that's technically the village just above Hertford, but it's much of a muchness. It's sort of, as Hertford splurged out, it's encompassed Hertford Heath. So there you go, Four Rivers Coffee. So I noticed their van was like, let's check out what coffee they sell. This is the one I picked up. Their Nyarusiza. I'm probably butchering that, by the way. Funky 94 coffee beans. Cost me a tenner. Because delivery was free, because I'm local. They just drop it off in the van, dropped it off on the doorstep in a nice white bag. Fortunately, I was working from home because it was quite obvious I wasn't home in this bright, ruddy white bag sitting on my doorstep. Yeah, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Anyway, and it's Rwandan, so I thought, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. So its origin is Rwanda, Nyarusiza, hence the name. So I presume there's a place in Rwanda. I don't know a lot about Rwanda. I know they've got gorillas, I know they sponsor Arsenal, and I know there was that whole government thing. But otherwise I don't know a lot about Rwanda. So, its tasting notes are poached plums and rum. So, very strong, very alcoholic, kind of rich alcoholic vibes is what it is suggesting. Really almost kind of a Christmassy vibe to it. That's poached plums and rum. Really rich, really interesting kind of tasting notes. So, am I expecting a lot of acidity? No, I'm sort of expecting a slight clutch, but almost alcoholic. But that's because they've specifically said rum. You know when you get like rum and raisin ice cream, or rum sweets? I'm not sort of expecting the rum drink taste, that kind of rich oakiness of rum, as opposed to the alcoholic of rum. With poached plums, I can't even think of a time where I've had poached plums, stewed plums maybe. I guess it's much of a muchness. So sort of kind of syrupy, kind of viscous, very sticky on the tongue. What I'm expecting is a really great mouthfeel that slightly catches the back of the throat, essentially. Very rich, tangy, not a lot of bite though. That's what I'm expecting. So, I've done my usual. espresso shot, oat latte, water to cleanse the palate. So, that's what we've done. And for £10 a bag, that's not bad going. £10, 250 grams, free delivery for me. I believe if you're outside of the Hertfordshire area, you're probably going to pay a bit more. But £10 a bag in this economy, not bad. So, it's a new local roastery. It's not new, I don't know how new it is. It's new to me. But local roastery, £10 a bag, not bad going. Hopefully the coffee's good, because then I have another local roastery to support. So, chin chin, here it goes, the espresso shot. Oh, really rich, kind of rummy. I understand the rum just from the smell. That kind of rich. There is a fruitiness to it. I think there is a plummy. There is a sort of stewed plummy top note. There is a sort of syrupy, sugary feel there. But that rum, I guess that's the acidity there. But instantly struck by that kind of rum sense. So let's see what we think of the espresso shot. Dark sugars is what instantly strikes me. Dark, almost a molasses sort of real kind of richness. But it's not kind of bitingly sweet. There is a real kind of nice, there's no brightness, very dark, very rich. That sort of alcoholic undertone is there, but it doesn't clutch, it doesn't burn like alcohol, which is weirdly smooth. I wasn't expecting that level of smoothness, but that sort of dark, sugary tone that layers the tongue, very kind of bassy note, really nice, coats the tongue quite nicely, and it's quite sticky. There's no wateriness, it's quite full, it's quite a full body. I wouldn't say, when you're saying, oh, that's a full-bodied coffee, I wouldn't say that falls into it, but it's not watery, it's not light. That viscousness is there. I enjoy that a lot. And then that sort of plummy top note, just kind of, yeah, weirdly sweet. There's a sweet sugariness to it, and then the kind of aftertaste is that rummy alcoholic sense pushing through. So as an espresso shot, great, fantastic, really pleasant. I'm not sure how that will work with milk or oat milk. As a black drink, as a long black, I also am not sure how that would present itself. Because that's quite intense, and I like it as an espresso shot for that intensity, for that richness. But to have that stretched out, I don't know. But I'll cleanse the old palate. See what we think of it. There's an oat latte. So, what am I expecting the oat to do? Possibly dial back that rummy tone and maybe bring out the fruitiness a bit more, so it might be a bit sweeter. I can't possibly put my finger on what else it could do. Let's go and find out. Oh yeah. So that creaminess almost creates that sweetness is still there, and the rum is pulled back, but it almost becomes like I said earlier, rum and raisin ice cream. And don't get me wrong, I say this almost in every review, but it does not taste like rum and raisin ice cream. It evokes that sense, yeah. This is what you do with coffee tasting. It's what it evokes, not necessarily what it directly translates as. It's the closest thing, yeah. So that creaminess and that sort of raisiny, I mean, it claims to be plum, but that rum sense and then a fruity tinge. So that fruitiness is elevated because the alcoholic sort of rich clutch at the back of your throat is pulled back a little. So you sort of go, right, so the fruitiness and the creaminess combined almost has a rum and raisin sense to it. And that's what I'm getting with the oat latte, which is really enjoyable. Yeah. And that sort of rummy, that, like I said earlier, the kind of Christmassy vibes, that is far more, with that kind of oat milk, is far more evocative of that sort of spiced rum Christmas sweet or cake sensation. And that is a real joy to drink. But what I will say is that I am not drinking that regularly because it is too sweet and too unique a taste to have that as my morning coffee. What I will say is I would gladly serve that up to anyone and go, try this coffee, this is great. But because of those tasting notes, it's not something I'm going to reach for every time. But that doesn't mean it's bad coffee. If anything, it's fantastic coffee. But it's so kind of poignant and punchy. So I'm going to go away, have some thoughts, write some thoughts down about that coffee. Really lovely. In the meantime, do hit our like and subscribe buttons. Check us out at www.getbeaned.com. Yeah, and search us on all the socials and whatnot. We're on most of them. Yeah, read our reviews on the site. Just do whatever. But do connect with us. In the meantime, I'm going to go away, think about that coffee, and express in written words what it's done to me, how I feel about it. Yeah, but quite pleasant, quite nice that that's near me. So yeah, I think it's probably on to a winner. Anyway, we'll see you in a little bit. My final thoughts on this coffee. Strong, rich tones of rum. That rum really does come through. Kind of a spiced rum, I'd say, rather than a it's definitely not a white rum, possibly a dark rum, but I'm going with like a nice spiced rum because of that sweetness. Very intense espresso, sweet and dark, but becomes sweeter with the creaminess of oat milk, so it has that sort of rum raisin sensation, as I was saying. So I've given it 4 stars, £10 for that sort of kind of intensity, but that smoothness. It's really lovely and it works very well. So 4 stars from me. Thank you very much for watching. Do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Check us out at www.getbeaned.com and we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.